Only mode.
Hi everyone, thanks for joining us for Saturn Infotech's Hyperion Hero webinar. Today we'll be walking you through the story of how one of our clients in the trucking and construction parts industry transformed their financial management process. We're going to give it a few minutes for more people to join on. We'll start shortly. So I'll introduce our speakers first. We have Sriram Sharma. He's our senior EPM architect. He comes with 10 years of experience in technical configuration and delivery of Oracle Hyperion products. He's a certified expert in Oracle planning, S-Base, and technical infrastructure requirements. Myself, Nina Sanders, I'm the marketing manager at Saturn Infotech. I manage all of our lead generation programs, including this webinar. This is our agenda for today. We'll go over the backstory of our damsel in distress all the way through how the hero saved the day. Then we'll do a live demo and time for questions at the end. So a little bit about Saturn Infotech. Who are we? We're BI, EPM, Big Data, and Cloud Specialized Oracle Platinum Partners. We're made up of client advisors, solution architects, and Hyperion certified specialists. Our clients range from mid-market to Fortune 500 organizations of all trades, including finance, retail, technology, pharma, and more. Saturn's actually been recognized by many prestigious award programs, including Inc. magazine and Smart CEO. These are all of Saturn's offerings. Not only do we provide EPM and BI implementation of software, but a full wheel of professional and support services, including product upgrades, enhancements, and performance optimizations. We have many experts who specialize in CXO advisory, and they stay up to date with the best practices and industry standards. You can see on the right side of the wheel are BI solutions, and on the left are EPM. Saturn's headquartered just outside of Philadelphia. However, we do have offices up and down the East Coast, as far north as Boston, all the way down to Atlanta and Miami. We have over 250 subject experts globally with coverage in nearly every U.S. state. These are some of the clients that Saturn has worked with: Pep Boys, WinCorp, Telephonics, Lanet, among others. So to begin our story, our damsel in distress is a supplier of heavy equipment machinery. They're located in Atlanta, Georgia, and have a revenue of about $2.5 million. They are a leading supplier of parts, manufactured components, and equipment in the mining, oil and gas, energy sectors. They also service all of these parts and components for those industry. They operate with 8 currencies and runs 12 subsidiaries. So obviously budgeting and their financial process is going to need a very comprehensive tool. Now I'll hand it off to Sriram, who'll walk you through the rest of the story.
Thanks, Nina, for such a wonderful introduction about that heavy equipment machinery client. To add on top of it, this client had locations throughout the world, specifically focusing areas where North America, South America, and Australia. They also had offices in Chile, Peru, Canada, Malaysia, China, and this client was kind of dealing with almost 8 different currencies. So this Atlanta means USD was kind of main reporting currency, but there were clients or there were subsidiaries from China and Malaysia. They were rolling up into Australia, and Australia was finally rolling up to USD. So that way a kind of a triangulation formation was there. The client was dealing with various different currencies ranging from your US dollars to Australian dollar, Canadian dollar, your Chinese yuan, Persian Nevon sol, Malaysian ringgit, and Chilean peso. So these were the top currencies I would say that they were dealing with. And as you know, that your Peruvian Nuevo Sol converted to Chilean peso, there is a quite huge fluctuation that happens. So from Peru peso to USD, almost the change effect is 600 to 700. I would say in a day, and that causes a lot of issues regarding your budget as well as your actual numbers that need to be set up. Moving forward, if you see what exactly this client was facing. So as I told that this client was located throughout the world, being a 24/7 client, as well as being a 24/7 client, as well as kind of a, a client which deals with your US dollars, and having different ERP systems. ERP systems ranging from SAP to FlexLine to FlexWin, Pronto, QuickBooks, Abyss, InStock, Peachtree, Excel files. So these were all different, I would say, ERP system that this client was dealing with, and generating almost 20 different report books out of this ERP system was a kind of a challenge, as they had to mainly depend on the controllers to get that information out, as well as there might be issues while this controllers might not get the data on a proper time, or it might take a longer time to give that information, resulting in taking longer time to generate such kind of books. And that was the biggest problem that this client were facing. Apart from this, the other problem was to generate that their close process. It was taking a hell lot of time, because after getting this information, uh, after getting this information, they had to go through different Excel sheets to generate consolidation process to get your data rolled up to the top parent level, as well as being a big competitor of Caterpillar. Uh, they had issues related with pre-acquisition. So they had almost 4 to 5 pre-acquisitions in last 3 years, and that information they wanted to be handled in the given system, as well as being Atlanta as a corp office and handling all their consultation over there. It was a challenge for them to get the information on time, perform a close in shortened time, as well as do their budget and forecast process. So their budget process, they had two separate budget process. One was a board budget process, other was a bank budget process, and that both budget process were run simultaneously to handle the situation. So because of that, these were some of the issues that they were facing. Um, uh, and after that, uh, we were called up over there. We went, we had a great discussion with them, and we came up with a wish list that the client was hoping to get from this implementation. So first of all, they wanted to get what if analysis. What if analysis was in the sense that the budget, the budget process, as well as your forecast process that they are running. They should be able to run what if analysis on the system. This client was dealing with almost 36,000 customers, and I would say that the metadata or the master data for this client was not properly arranged, and because of that, for example, let's say if I consider a customer C1000, That customer might be a mining industry customer for Australian subsidiary, but same customer number might be assigned to a different agricultural customer for Chilean. So there was no unique way of defining these details, as well as there was no centralized chart of account available. So we had to first come up with a centralized chart of account, as well as worked on creating a centralized master data structure for all the customers. They wanted to have a 24/7 support, follow the sun kind of support, as this client was running at different time zones, and also a minimum IT involvement. So they asked us that if we can handle up their production environment. Apart from that, earlier using Excel, they were not able to generate report by your sales, by product, by customer, by sales channel, as well as transaction type. So they wanted to have a detailed level analysis report to be generated on the system. Also, earlier generating a consolidation with 8 different currencies in a single shot was taking hell lot of time, and they wanted to reduce it, that, as well as generate their free cash flow, as well as automated cash flow on the system, and that cash flow should have been uh, represented in a graphical manner also. So there, this was the big wish list that client gave up, and the other things that they wanted was to implement this system in a short time, around 8 to 9 months of time. They wanted this thing to be up and running. So here it shows how their environment looks like. So if you see on the left hand side, you will see ERP data sources. Now, as I mentioned earlier, that this ERP data sources were ranging from your SAP, FlexLine, FlexWin, Pronto, QuickBooks, Abex, InStock, Peachtree, and other Excel files. So they used to extract this information into Excel. All the 12 subsidiary owners used to fill up that their budget information in some of the Excel templates, send it to the main people in corporate at Atlanta level, and that person's used to work on consolidating the data, as well as going through their budget and forecast process. And this entire process used to take almost 20 days. So I would say that once they were done with a monthly close for this month, it would be time for starting the monthly close for the next month. So that kind of bad situation this client was at that time. So we saw, and we thought that, okay, let's implement enterprise performance management. So what Saturn did, that how we helped this client was, first of all, we had implemented their dev and production environment on our data center, which was kind of supported 24/7. So the biggest requirement of them, where they wanted a minimal IT support, as well as no hardware or no infrastructure cost, that was taken out. Second issue, configuring almost 8 different ERP systems into a single system. We took that on our head, and we used FDME, where integrated FlexLine, FlexWin, SAP, and other source systems. So for that, we used open source interface, that table available in FDME, which would allow us directly to integrate with all other source systems. They wanted a consolidation application which could handle 8 currencies in the application, and perform the entire consolidation with calculation of your minority interest, as well as some of the performa numbers in the application. Also, this client had for AOCI, they had a specific calculation that needed to be designed into the rule. Um, we After building this system with consolidation application, they were able to perform the close process quite in a shortened time. They wanted to have a Hyperion planning application which would help them to get budget and forecast information. So they wanted to perform 2 budgets as well as 4 forecasts in the application, as well as they wanted to budget and forecast out at an elimination level. So as this was a roll up of 12 different subsidiaries, and as I mentioned, there might be some subsidiaries which were in different currency, for example Chinese yuan or Malaysian ringgit, and then they might be rolled up into a parent company at Australian, and that parent company might finally roll up into USD. So there were intercompany transactions and eliminations that were happening, and we wanted to make sure that when do they budget out, they budget at this elimination level, and that elimination points are considered in the application. Also, they wanted to uh, they wanted to budget out your balance sheet at a top level. So they had a specific requirement where income statement should be balanced, should be budgeted or forecasted out at a lowest account level detail, line item detail, but your balance should be at a top level. So we had to come up with a solution where we had two different versions running. One was a kind of a bottom up, another one was your target down for your balance sheet and bottom up for your income statement, and then finally merging this two versions into a single final version for their final budget numbers. They wanted to convert their entire 20 book Excel reports into financial reports, and we came up with almost 150 reports for this client where they can generate performer numbers, trending reports at local currency level or at converted currency level, also running comparisons between Australian and USD conversions, running reports at a constant currency level, a constant currency dollar level, automated their entire cash flow. After this implementation of planning and your HFM, the client was pretty much impressed by the power of this EPM management. So they asked that if we can create up a weekly cube, a more kind of a database which can withhold their weekly sales number as well as backlog numbers into the application. Also, as this application was hosting almost 36,000 customers coming from your Salesforce, they wanted to do a deep dive analysis on this customers, where they wanted to analyze this customers by industry. So for example, customers might be rolling up into different industry and sub industry. Some customers might be rolling into, let's say, industry mine, and sub industry as gold, coal, copper, iron. So they wanted to analyze, okay, which are my top customers, top 10 customers who has the highest revenue, and which industry they falls under. As well as this customers might rolled up into a single parent. So they wanted to analyze the data by product, by customer parent also. So at that time, we came up with two separate ASO cubes where the customer hierarchy was rearranged according to industry, sub-industry, and your customer number, and other way by parent, by customer number. And the entire data, the entire actual data that was residing in the planning application was lifted and shifted to this ASO cubes through simple cal scripts and your load rules. While in planning, it was loaded through 17 different locations in FDME. Also, the FR reports that we created, these reports were actually pulling up data from two separate applications. One was your HFM, and another was your planning at a simultaneously into two separate grids, and then reporting out into a single grid. Also, they wanted to use their existing forecast as well as plan templates. So we had to come up with a way where we can map their existing forecast and plan templates to the Hyperion planning application that we created. So we created various smart view templates which were linked to their existing forecast and plan templates. Because of this, the enterprise management system saved and helped a client a lot. The ROI for this implementation, I would say, was first of all their entire close time, which was taking almost more than 20 days, was reduced to just 5 days. And 5 days is pretty good enough looking at the number of source systems they have as well as the number of regions this client resides. Their entire planning and budget process was streamlined. Their process of budgeting out at two levels, one at a board level and one at a bank level, was reduced from 4 months to a single month, as well as earlier they used to just perform one forecast. Now they were able to perform four forecasts in a year, where starting from your 3 plus 9 forecast, or 6 plus 6, or 9 plus 3, or 10 plus 2 forecast. Now they are thinking of going with a rolling forecast method also. Created various revenue sales analysis report by product, by customer, by sales channel, by transaction type, and that gave and attracted a numerous number of investors to the company. This implementation actually eliminated the entire labor intensive Excel close process as well as your budget process. Um, Pulling up the data for cash flow from your income statement and balance sheet was entire automated, and that gave them an automated data system, as well as adding up your pre-acquisition entities into the system became much more easier. And because of that, in the past we added just 4 entities in 2 years. So now after implementing your ERP EPM system, you can see how things worked out, where depending on SAP or your Pronto or your Peachtree systems, where FDME was directly able to hook up into the ERP system. For others such as your FlexLine, FlexWin, SQL views were created. For Abbas, QuickBooks, and InStock and Excel files, plain files were used directly utilizing the functionality of FDME and Oracle Data Integrator to load up the details directly into your Hyperion planning as well as financial management and SPS applications. And these applications were EPMA applications. So managing your master data between different applications was much easier. And finally, the users can report directly on financial reports as well as Smart View. So this was the after math implementation. So this was the architectural diagram after implementation. Some of the points that I would like to go over while going through your planning and financial management. These are more kind of your product focused answers or points which says what the product is capable of. After this, we will take a jump to a demo. So let me just show you how exactly your HFM and planning application looks like. So right now I am in my demo environment, and in this demo environment you can see this is the main workspace page where all my reports as well as my consolidation application and my planning application can be accessed from a single area, depending again from the security right. So if I click on my consolidation application, this will open up the consolidation application, and you can see in this application the entire data maps. So if I go to documents and if I pull up a console detail, this gives me my consolidation grid by my entire income statement, by different entities, by different scenario version. I can look it up. Over on the left hand side I have various tasks which I can perform. I can look into various documents which are created. I can create my own journals. I can create templates for intercompanies. I can create load data into the application, look at the entire process control flow process, that what data has been loaded, which area has been consolidated, which area hasn't been, are there any journal entries posted on the system. So all that detail level I can see in this application over here. As you can see on the left hand side, all the entities, what is their calc status, how many journal entries are posted, what is approved, what is not approved, why it is failing. And if I click on this, it will take me to the area why the journal entry failed. So that kind of interlinked application, and that helps at a close level, can be created. To go us through another application, let's go quickly through a planning application. That's your toad plan application. This is again a planning application, and depending on my user security rights, I will see this is a main screen, and with this defines what works I have completed and what are pending on my list. So this is kind of more of your task list status. On the left hand side you can see the task list that has been defined. So let's say if I'm launching up a task for my sales, I can go into the system depending on the task that has been assigned, and if there are any specific instructions, I can go through that. I can start going through in detail on different tasks. I can input numbers into standardized templates that are created. So this is again a standardized template that has your departmental expense by year, by plan, by your different months, and these are all drillable where I can expand by different months. I can input my budget numbers or my plan numbers into the system, and once I save it, all the rules behind the scene that are there, it will be automatically executed, and the data will be calculated. You can see that once I inputted 4500 at January level, the data has been rolled up to the year total level. So this is a planning application. As we talked earlier, that we can go through different reports. So if I go to your explore area, I can run different reports. Let me just run some of the recent reports that has been opened up. I can run the recent reports directly from the workspace page. So this is a book that we generated. I just ran that book. I can run different reports inside that book and see at your different data. This is kind of a statement of income, but I think I need to change up the parameters. Let me just close up this and change up the parameter. So period November FY13 working. Let me say final. So this way I can actually run different reports into the system. Also, this tool gives you a capability of your smart view. That's ad hoc enabler on Excel or on your Microsoft products, where you can actually connect your Excel, Word, PowerPoint directly to the system and run reports on top of it. So whatever reports that I ran right now in the application on web, I can actually run the same reports on this. So for example, if I log on into the system, if I see over here, I will have all the products that were available online. Over here I can go to the application, I can connect, I can look at let's say I'm connecting to plan 1 application. I'm doing an ad hoc analysis. Let me go to option, data option. No data missing. I can remove that, connect to the application. So I'm just directly connected to the application with the ad hoc grid, or I can connect the forms that we saw online. That forms can be directly opened up over into your Excel and can be inputted numbers accordingly. With this, I will leave the floor open for different questions.
All right, so our first question is, how did you handle pre-acquisition entities?
So that's actually a good question. What we did was we created separate entity. For example, let's say I have entity 1 in the application, and what I did, I created as entity 1 and entity 1 pre-acquisition. So all the data related to earlier was utilized in pre-acquisition, and after the acquisition date the other data was flowing, and so we created a parent on top of it which will give you the exact data of that particular acquired entity.
Thanks, Sri. Next question is, how did you sync HFM and the planning applications data?
Okay. Syncing up HFM and planning application, we used EPMA data synchronizer. As I told in this webinar, that the applications that we created were EPMA applications, and we have a functionality called EPMA data synchronizer, which allows to sync up data from HFM to planning as well as data from HFM to space application.
All right, we'll take one more question. If you have further questions, feel free to email us, sales@saturninfotech.com, and we'll get back to you.
Okay, so we have another question. That is, how good is the cloud version and how much feature does it cover comparing with the on-premise version? See, cloud version, it's in my perspective, it's good, but there are limitations to the cloud versions. For example, in on-premise, you have unlimited number of applications on planning side that you can create, but on cloud, you can create only one application with 3 plan types, but depending on what kind of cloud you are going, let's say you are going with EPBCS, at that time you can create up to 7 different applications in total. Again, integrating as well as access to space and few other properties matters. So depending on company to company, if they are willing to spend on infrastructure and bigger licenses, they go with on-premise. Otherwise, most of the companies I have seen a trend of going to cloud.
All right, that's the last question, so we'll wrap it up there. Thanks everyone for attending. Everyone who registered will receive a recording of the webinar in your email, so keep a lookout for that.
Thank you.